Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video, we will actually be coding a React.js application which allows you to actually edit your GIF files. So I basically developed this tool on my website. I've deployed this tool on freemediatools.com. So this is actually the YouTube channel of this website. So I have this website freemediatools.com. So if you go to it, so the latest tool that I added on my website, this is the GIF speed and rotation editor. So with the help of which you can be able to change the speed of your GIF files, or you can even rotate them also. So let me just take an example right here, and you can see I've deployed this. You can check out the live demo as well. So here, this is actually the interface which I developed this using Tailwind CSS, and you basically see a choose file button. So here you need to simply select your GIF animation file right here, guys. So GIF animation, if you don't know about, GIF animations are special images which are simply made of animation. So you can see it's a animation file of GIF animation, and we have two sliders available right here to actually increase the speed. So as you basically increase or decrease the slider, you will see the label will increase here. You will see it will tell you exactly which is the speed right here. So if I increase the slider or decrease the slider, the value will change right here. So let's suppose I want to increase the speed of this GIF animation, I will increase the value. So the speed is 4.4, and now you can even change the rotation angle as well. So you just need to change the value here. So if you are happy with this value, now you have this button right here, process. So you will simply click this button, and now as you click this button, the processing will start, and after that you will basically see your GIF animation has been successfully rotated at an angle of 133 degree, and speed has been increased to 4.4. So you can take any GIF animation of your favorite, just change the rotation angle, click on, and you will basically see a model window will appear, simply telling that it is processing. So after processing it, it will show the output file in a GIF animation, and will be a download GIF button. So if you are satisfied with the result, you can simply export this to a GIF animation. Simply click this button. So as you click this button, your file will be saved in a GIF file. You will basically see your GIF file has been rotated, and the speed is also changed. It has been rotated at an angle that you chosen right here, which is 306 degree, and the speed is also been increased. So similarly, if you want to decrease the speed, you can just decrease the value of the slider. So now the speed is 0.5x. So now the speed, as you can see, it is decreased. If you see right here, the size of the GIF animation, it will increase right here. And if you play the GIF animation file, you will see the speed of the GIF animation will be decreased right here. So you can play with this application. I have successfully deployed this on my website freemediatools.com, and we will be building this application from scratch in this video. So let me first of all tell you what technologies we will use for this. First of all, we will be using React.js, which is the number one UI library for building user interfaces, and we will be using React.js for building this application. And the second technology we will be using is FFmpeg WebAssembly. FFmpeg, as you all know, it's an open source video and audio processing library, but FFmpeg.WebAssembly enables you to use this very popular library in the browser. So you can directly use this in the browser to actually edit your media files. So we will be using this library. So these two packages we will use. So first of all, the React for actually building it in the browser, and then the FFmpeg WebAssembly. We will also be using Tailwind CSS for actually designing the UI. So if you don't know about Tailwind CSS, it's a very good UI library for building user interfaces. For this, you don't need to write external CSS. It has pre-made classes that you can attach to the HTML. So these three packages we will use, guys, for building this application. So you can directly purchase the full source code at the end of this video. If you need the full source code, full directory structure, you can go to my website. I have I am selling this source code, so you can go to procodestore.com and purchase the full source code. After you purchase it, you will be redirected to Google Drive, where you will actually get the full directory structure, full zip file. Automatically, after the payment, you will be redirected to Google Drive and you will get the zip file. You just need to extract the zip file, and you will see I'm running this application on localhost 3000. And simply you need to first of all npmi, so this will install all the modules, and then you just need to start your server by invoking a very simple command, which is npm run start. So if you need the full source code, the link is given, you can directly purchase it. After purchasing it, you just need to extract the content of the zip file and simply execute this command, which is npmi. So this will install all the node.js modules, and simply type npm run start. So this will actually start your application on the local development server, which will be localhost 3000. By default, all React.js applications start on localhost 3000. So in this way, so in the next section, we will try to build this application from scratch. So I will be seeing you in the next section. Now guys, we will start building this application. So I am there on my project directory. So I will simply open command line. And for building this, we will be using a development engine, which is Vite. So if you don't know about Vite, it's a popular development environment where you can actually build out React.js, Vue.js, all these popular frameworks applications. So it is really fast. So it's a front-end tooling system similar to Webpack. So it's really fast. So we will be using it. So there is a simple command right here in Vite, which you can npx create react app, or sorry, create dash vite dash app, and then you need to simply name your application. Let me name it as GIF editor project, and then you need to simply type dash dash template. So we are developing React.js application, so I will simply write here React. This is actually the command, guys. You will see that npx, then is the create Vite app, and this is actually your project name. So we have GIF editor project dash dash template, and this is actually the React.js application. So this is the overall command. So if you just execute this command, and you will basically see, you will get this message. Now you can cd into this npm install and npm run dev to actually start the development server. So I will simply go to the project directory, GIF editor project, and then I will install all the modules by invoking this command, which is npm I. So this will actually install the basic React.js packages which are required for actually building a React.js application. So this will hardly take 5 to 10 seconds. So Vite is really powerful, and it is really fast in building your React.js, bundling the dependencies. If you are basically building it using React.js command line, it's really fast. So that's why we are using it. So it takes less time in running projects and building also. So once it is done, we will start to actually install two packages which are required for building this application. So one such package I'm talking about is this package, which is, if you go to npmjs.com, you just need to search for this package. The name of the package is no UI slider dash react. This is actually the package we will use, guys, for actually setting the start and the this package for this application. You need to require, this is a slider package if you want to integrate sliders inside your React.js application. So this is specifically made for React.js applications. So there is a simple command which we need to invoke, which is npm I no UI slider dash react. So you can see that now it has installed it. If I open this, you will simply get this directory structure. This will be your JSX file, very simple React.js project right here. And we just need to in npm I install this package. no UI slider dash react. So now we can run this development server npm run dev. So this will actually start your development server. So it is bundling all the libraries. So just wait, you will see localhost 3000. So if you just open the address localhost 3000, so this is a basic React.js project. You will see that. Now we just need to edit this file app.jsx. If you see, there is this file present. Simply I will replace everything here with a simple heading, hello world. So it will automatically refresh, hello world will be printed out. So that's all. And now we don't need the logo, we will eliminate this. We don't need this also. So you can remove this from here. So this is actually the directory structure, very simple. And you can see inside package.json we have installed this package, which is no UI slider react. So this is a package one external package that we are using apart from the WebAssembly library of FFMPEG. Now guys, for the very first time, need to go to the public folder, this index.html file right here. So in this file, we need to include the CDN for Tailwind CSS. As I already told you, we are actually using Tailwind CSS for the UI purpose. You just need to include the CDN for Tailwind. So just go to their official website, copy the CDN, and after the title, paste it. And apart from that, we will also be using a Sweet Alert 2, which is actually a alert based library. So Sweet Alert, if you don't know, they have their own official website. So customizable alert boxes. So it looks really good. That's why we are using it inside this project. So they have installation. If you see, you need to include the CDN for this. Just copy the CDN and paste it so that you can use it inside your React.js application. And I think we also need to include the CSS part as well. So just after the title, paste all these here. So if you purchase it, you will automatically get all this setup. You don't need to manually set up. You will get all the project files. If you purchase it, the link is given in the description of the video. So coming back to app.jsx, now we just need to make some changes in the UI. Instead of this hello world, we need to show to the user. We will be using these tailwind classes. We need to set here P6, P stands for padding, and BG stands for background color, BG gray, 100 is the shade, and then minimum height screen. So these are all tailwind classes, guys. As you see, we are adding multiple classes here, and then items center. So we have basically given a div right here and attached all these classes, and inside this we will be having a heading. So text, we will set the size 3XL. The size, it will be bold, margin bottom 6, text will be in gray color, 800. And we will basically set the title to be GIF speed and rotation editor. So if you just refresh your application, you will basically see it will appear like this, GIF speed and rotation editor. So after this, sorry, this needs to be flex. I basically made a spelling mistake. So now it will appear right in the rightful position at the center of the screen, at the top center of the screen. So after this, we will actually be having a input field where we will ask the user to actually upload or select a GIF file. We will only be accepting GIFs files, so we'll be giving an accept parameter right here. We will only be accepting GIF animation files, and this will be required. And we will be giving a class name. These are all tailwind classes we will give here. Margin bottom 4, padding 2. We will give it a border of gray 300 and it will be rounded on medium devices, and it will also be having a shadow on small devices. So that's all. If you refresh, there will be this input file added right here where you can select your GIF animation files. If you try to select any other file, you will basically get an error. So after doing this, guys, we need to declare our state variables for our React.js application. So for every React.js application, if you are working with data is called as state in React.js application if you don't know. So we need to declare some variables here. So first variable we will declare is the GIF source. So this variable will be responsible for storing the input file GIF animation, such that if the user selects this using the input field, we will be storing the file using in this variable. The actual file which is selected by the user will be saved inside this variable. And the second one will be the actual speed. So whatever speed is selected by the user, which will be stored inside this variable. So if you don't know about useState is actually a hook. If you don't know about React.js hooks, you can search React hooks, where there are various types of hooks available. One such hook is useState, which is required to actually uh, which is responsible to actually manipulate with the data and the state of the application. So this is the actual variable, and this is actually the method to actually manipulate the state, to actually set values. This is meant by these two variables. And again, the initial value here, we need to provide the initial value. So this will be empty. Similar to this, the speed will be 1 by default. And similarly, we need to set the rotation as well. GIF rotation. We will call this. You can call this anything. Set GIF rotation. So this is actual method name. And again, initial value of it will be 0 degree by default whenever you load the application for the very first time. So the next variable will be the output URL. We will be storing this. I will call this as processed GIF URL, and the function will be set processed GIF URL, and then initial value will be nothing again. And here this variable will be responsible for actually loading the FFMPEG WebAssembly library. This will be a Boolean parameter, and basically is script loaded and set is script loaded. This is actual method. So initial value will be false because we haven't loaded the FFmpeg WebAssembly library in the browser. So this variable will be useful to keep track whether the FFmpeg is loaded in the browser or not. We will change from false to true when it is loaded. The last but not least is the processing. So we will be basically be showing a alert message to the user whenever the processing is taking place. This is again a Boolean parameter. Set is processing. Initial value will be false once again because the file is not processing. That's why it is false. So we can see we have declared all the state variables which are needed for this application. Now we just need to declare our sweet alert variable. So this is required, guys. You just need to write this comment so that we can use it as a global variable, because we are actually including sweet alert 2 library in the CDN. If you see in the public index.html, we have included it the CDN right here for the CSS and the JavaScript. That's why we do need to include this comment right here to actually enable sweet alert library to actually use it inside this component. So just write this comment right here as it is. If you don't write this comment, you will get error. So we need to declare this global variable global swell, and just close this comment. That's all. So now you will be able to use Sweet Alert 2 library inside your React.js application. So after this, guys, what we need to do, we now need to once again use another hook here in React.js, which is called as use effect. So use effect, guys, is typically used. Let's suppose your application is loading for the very first time. So this hook only execute once. So here you can actually load any external library that you are using. So we will be loading our library, which is FFMPEG WebAssembly. This will be only be loaded for the very first time when the application is loaded. So here you need to provide square brackets. So inside this, we will be writing a simple function which will be responsible for loading this. I will call this as load script, and I will need to provide a URL here from which the library will be loaded. So this will be the URL, npm @ffmpeg ffmpeg. This is actually the full URL, guys, of the CDN library which is hosted. You can also cross verify as well. If you open this URL in the browser, you will actually get the actual library of FFmpeg WebAssembly. So we need to actually fetch this library in the browser and load this. Now we need to define this function which will actually return a promise to us. We can handle this promise by dot then, and inside this we will actually be loading this if type of window is so here we can simply say we need to declare a global variable right here at the very top, FFmpeg. We will be storing the reference of FFmpeg in this variable. We can simply say FFmpeg is equal to window dot FFmpeg dot create FFmpeg. This is actually a method which is available in FFmpeg WebAssembly library, and here log is it to true. So basically all the log statements will be available in the inspect element of the browser console if you set it to true. And there is a method which is ffmpeg.load. So it will actually load the library in the application, and then we can set this variable from false to true, which is the hook set is script loaded to true. You can see we have declared this hook method. We are calling it to actually manipulate the state from change this value from false to true. We are doing it. So now we just need to define this function which is load script, which will be responsible for actually loading the script. So we will define this function load script, which will actually be taking a source parameter as an argument. We are passing the full URL as it is. You can see that. So right here inside this here we need to return a promise from this because it's a async function. So either the promise can resolve or reject. So here we are basically creating a script element by using document.createElement. If you know about DOM, you will know this method, which is responsible for creating dynamic elements. So we are creating a script element. We are actually saying script.async to true because it will be asynchronously loaded. Script.defer is also be equal to true, and script.source will be equal to the past source property which is passed right here. It's a very simple function just doing its task, and we are basically on load. So when the library is loaded, we will actually resolve the promise and pass the script. If any sort of error take place, we will actually reject this promise, call the reject function and passing a error, and we can simply say that script load error for FFmpeg WebAssembly. That's all. And now we just need to add this to the DOM. So we can simply say to the head element document.head append script. That's all in this function. Very simple function. We create an script element, we add the source, we add these two parameters async, defer, and then define this on load. When the script is loaded, we will resolve the promise, and if it has some error, we will reject it, passing this error message. And lastly, we will add this script element to the head element in the index.html. So this will be automatically dynamically be added, so using this function, which is load script, this will be executed whenever you load this use effect. This will automatically be called. If I basically add a alert statement here, you will basically see this alert statement will be executed. So if I go to the browser now, you will see that if I go to my React.js application, refresh. So you just need to refresh your application for this. So it is running here, localhost 3001. So here we need to change the port number here. You will see it, this alert message will print out hi hello. And if I go to the inspect element, go to console, you will basically see here, uh, you can see this loading FFMPEG dash core. And you will basically see this error right here, guys. This is very common error in FFmpeg WebAssembly library. Shared array buffer is not defined. And if you are building it using Vite, there is a config file which will be available to you, which is vite config.js file. And here we need to add two headers to actually counter this error. If you're developing it on local environments, you will get this error, shared array is not defined. So to resolve this error, you need to add two headers right here, vite config.js. So I will simply go to chat GPT and actually get my answer. So I will simply write a simple prompt, please uh, provide the headers to here to resolve shared array buffer not defined for the FFmpeg WebAssembly. It will automatically add the headers which are required. So in this way, you can use ChatGPT for your advantage. Simply copy it, paste it. So what it will do, it will add these two headers right here, cross origin opener policies to same origin and cross origin embedder policy to require co-op. These are the two headers we need to write, guys. If you just refresh your application, you will basically see that error will go away. If you once again go to inspect element, this error will, you can see that it is using this version number, version 0.112. It is loading it. Just need to refresh your application one more time. So it is saying that Vite define config is not a function. So what you will do, Control C, just ask, go to Chat GPT and paste this, simply type. So it will give you this, simply copy this. So whenever you make changes inside your Vite config.js, you need to actually restart your application. So if you see, yeah, so we have this server block right here. We need to add this. Just put a comma. Sorry guys, the problem was really simple, and Vite basically has the latest version, which is 4 version. I was using the outdated version. So simply update the package.json file, and inside your dev dependencies, change the Vite version to 4.00. This is the latest version of Vite, and change this to 4.000, and simply again npm I. So this will actually update your Vite version. So after you update it, simply run your development server. It will start this development 5173. In the latest version of Vite, it basically start your application at port number 5173. So if you just now see, this alert message will open, and you'll see the FFMPEG WebAssembly library will be successfully loaded, and you will not see that message shared array not defined. That error message is gone, and we have successfully loaded the FFmpeg WebAssembly library. Now our task is very simple. We now need to actually uh, bind a method right here to this input element. Whenever we select our GIF file, there will be this method which will be automatically be triggered once we select our file. So right here, what we need to do right here, if you see, we now need to actually bind a on click listener. So whenever we select any file right here, we will call this as on change. This will automatically trigger this function whenever you select your GIF file. This function handle file upload. You can basically call this anything. I will call this like this, handle file upload. Now we just need to define this function right here. We can define it right here. So just say const handle file upload, and here e parameter will be automatically be passed to this function, and here we will get to the file which is selected by the user. So we will say e.target.files 0. This is the actual way by which we get to the file. You can console log the file, and if I actually, let me just delete this alert message which is coming. Just delete it. Just refresh now, and once we actually select any file, if you go to the inspect element, go to console, you will basically see this file will be having all these properties, the name, size, type. You will get all this access to all these properties using this file object. Now we just need to access this object that we got, which is a file, and now we just need to actually set all the state variables. So we'll set the GIF file, set the GIF file. I think I declared, sorry, this needs to be, let me see, I call this wrong. Set, there is also a GIF source. Okay, set. Okay, let me also declare this GIF file as well. Set GIF file, and initial value will be nothing. So right here now we will be setting our GIF file. We'll call this function set GIF file to the actual file which is selected by the user, and also set GIF source to the, for this we need to actually convert this into a blob URL. So right here we will actually be having a if condition, if file, and if the file type is equal to condition, if it's a GIF file, then only execute this code like this. Simply format like this. So after this, we will actually be calculating our blob. We will convert this into blob URL. So URL dot create object URL, and we will simply pass the file. It will actually convert your file to a blob here, and we'll set it to a blob URL like this. And also we'll set the processed GIF URL to be nothing, because we are not processing it. So the output file will be nothing here. We are just starting to process this file. So this is all that it will go inside this function. So if this is not a GIF file, we will actually be showing an alert message to the user because it's not a GIF file. Also close this, and there will be this else block, and here we will simply be showing a sweet alert message to the user that invalid file, you need to select please upload, or please select a valid, this will be an error message, please select a valid GIF file, and this will be an error message, the third argument to this library function. Fire will actually open the alert message. So if you go to your application, try to actually select any different file. Let's suppose by default it will only show GIF files. So by chance if you select a MP4 file, you will see this awesome little validation message, please only select a valid GIF file. So this makes it very much easy for the user to actually select only GIF files. So after you do this, guys, we will actually be writing some uh, JSX conditional HTML inside our React.js application. Just go to right here, and we will actually be writing a simple curly bracket, and right here GIF source. So if the input file is selected by the user, then only this code will execute inside parentheses like this. And here inside this we will actually be writing our div class name, GIF source. uh, let me see what is actually is it is having error. Let me see, I declared this GIF source. Yeah, this is the set GIF source is there. We are basically using this variable right here. Okay, this parent div needs to be right here because we closed this application right here, so it needs to be inside this. So your React.js application must only contain one parent div. So we have this one parent div, so all the JSX will go inside it. So that's why. So give source, and if this variable exists, then only we will need to write some here. Div will basically give it a class name here of relative margin bottom 4. These are all tailwind classes. We will actually be showing this in an image tag, the GIF file, the input image file which is selected by the user. This will be in curly bracket GIF source. This will be a blob URL, and we'll give it a original, this is the original GIF file, and we'll give it a class name w full max w on medium devices, and it will be rounded on large devices. It will also have a shadow on large devices. That's all. So if you just see, guys, your GIF file will be displayed. If you see, if I try to select this GIF file, and let me see, w full maxed w medium rounded should display, but let me just select. So why it is not displaying? Let me see, guys, why it is not displaying. It should display this GIF file. Guys, there was just an internet connection problem, so all the code was correct. If I basically select my GIF animation file, you will see that now it is displaying right here in the application. So you can see that now the GIF animation is displaying. This is actual input file. We are showing the live preview to the user, whichever GIF animation file that they have selected, the GIF animation will play. Now we need to add the sliders for changing the speed and the rotation angle of the GIF animation. Now going back to the JSX, right here you will see we have written this much code. So after this, guys, we will be actually be the div tag. We will be adding some break tag. So after this break tag, we will be having another div. So this time, this will be for the sliders. MD margin bottom 4. These are all tailwind classes. And right here, we will give it a label as well for better understanding for the user what to do here. So it will be a block level element, margin bottom 2. Text will be in gray color of 700 shade, and it will simply say speed. And here the user must select the speed, and we will be using that no UI slider, guys. It will automatically import it right here at the very top, no UI slider. And you can see that. So we also need to import the CSS file. CSS will also be imported from the distribute. VS Code will automatically import all the things we need for this package. These two lines will automatically get added. Now we can use the slider library. So this makes it easy for making sliders inside React.js application. So this basically contains property here. First is behavior, and this will be tap and drag. You can drag the slider or you can tap it. Step parameter is 0.1. You can set this to any value. Range, here we need to provide the minimum and the maximum. So minimum will be 0.1, maximum will be 5. And starting value will be 0, 1. So I am setting 1 right here. This needs to be square brackets, not. And this is connect and on, just close it. And if you just see, guys, there will be this slider which will be added. You can see that nice little slider, and you can basically control the speed with it. And we also need to show, there will be this method which will be there on update. Whenever you change the slider, this function will automatically execute. I am calling this as handle speed change. Now we need to define this function. And also, guys, we also need to show the preview which value the user has selected for the speed, and the same thing we will do this for the rotation as well. So I will simply copy this one more time just to save some time. I will paste it, and this time it will be for the rotation angle. And once again, the minimum will be 0 and the maximum will be 360, because 360 is the maximum angle you can rotate. Starting will be 0, and this will, I will change this to handle rotation change, this function. And apart from that, the step value here will be 1, like this. That's all. And we now need to define these two methods. It will give me error, so we just need to define these two methods right here. Handle speed change, and also our handle rotation change. So if you just refresh now, there will be two sliders which, as you select your GIF animation, this is the speed and this is the rotation. So one problem is there. If I change the slider, I'm not seeing any value right here. So now to see the value being updated, we now need to go to your JSX. Just after this, give it a break tag, and we need to add a div here, right here, where we can actually show which value the user has selected in the slider. We will show the speed here. So it will be directly here, GIF speed. We have declared a state variable of GIF speed, X, and comma for the rotation as well. We will directly be embedding this inside curly brackets, GIF rotation. So these are state level variables. We are doing it. So I will simply copy this symbol for the degree, just paste it right here. So initial value, GIF speed, GIF rotation, if you check in the use state hook, we have declared these two variables which we are using. GIF rotation and GIF speed. Now in these two methods, we now need to set these. So we will actually get the speed which is selected by the user. We will use this method parse float to actually change the value from string to 0 to string to integer. We will use this method, and then we will set this set GIF speed to the speed which is selected by the user, and also set processed GIF URL will also be changed to nothing. Same thing for the rotation as well. We will get the rotation value in the slider by using parse. For this we will use parse int values 0 and 10, set GIF rotation to the actual rotation, and set processed GIF URL to nothing. That's all. So now if you see, if you reload your application, it is saying that values is not defined. Sorry guys, because values will be automatically coming right here in this. It will be coming right here as an argument to these functions. In the slider, if you see on update, it automatically triggers this function and it will automatically send this value as an argument right here. So we need to catch this right here. So if you refresh now, there will be no error. Now you can see that the value will change right here, 2.4x, as you increase the speed. If you change the rotation angle, it will automatically show the live preview to the user that they are changing the slider value. Now we need to simply a button is required right here to actually, just after this in the JSX, two break tags. After this we will have a button right here, flex space x4 margin bottom 4, and right here we will have a simple button which will simply say process GIF, and this button will have some classes attached to it. So px4 py2 padding 2 in the y direction, sorry. Background will be green, bg green 500, and text will be in white color, text white. It will be rounded. You can see Tailwind CSS makes it very much easy to shadow medium devices when we hover onto it. So this is actually a pseudo class. We don't need to write additional CSS for this. So if you just see, there will be this button added. You can see that a green button. A nice little interface is ready. Now we just need to bind a on click to it. So when we click this button of process GIF, this function we need to write, which is handle process GIF. This is the main business logic of this application. So whenever you click this function, button, this function will automatically trigger. We need to now define this function, handle process GIF. So inside this, we will actually be using FFMPEG WebAssembly commands to actually change the speed and rotate the GIF. So for doing this, guys, it's a lengthy function. It's very complicated somewhat. To try to understand it step by step. I will just show you how it works. Please hit that like button, guys. Subscribe the channel as well if you are watching it for the very first time. And now we will simply have a if condition right here. First of all, we will check that if the script is loaded and also if the input file is selected by the user. If it is both these scenarios are correct, then only we will execute. And first of all, we will make this value set is processing from false to true because we are processing the file. So now we need to show a alert box to the user that the file is processing. So we will use the sweet alert function right here, fire, and right here we will pass some options. The title of the window will be simply saying to the user that the file is processing, please wait. So processing dot dot dot, and the next thing will be the text right here, simply please wait while we process your GIF. The third parameter, the user, we don't want the user to close this, so we'll say allow outside click to false. So the user can't close this window. They need to wait for the processing to finish, and automatically this alert window will go away. So this function is very important. The user will not able to close this. Did open, it's a simple callback function. It will simply show the loading progress bar. So now if you try to select input file, change the slider value and click on this button, you will simply see this processing alert window. Please wait while we process our GIF. Now we need to now actually process the GIF and then hide this once we are done. So right here we will now be using the FFMPEG WebAssembly library. It's a complete project, guys, step by step. I'm telling you, please hit that like button, share this video with your friends as well. So we will basically fetch the name and the type from the GIF file. Input GIF file will fetch the name and the type. So here we will use the FFmpeg variable, and it contains this file system module automatically in WebAssembly. So FS stands for file system, and it has its own internal memory in which it can read write files. So we will first of all need to write this input file in the memory, the name of the file, and it will be a async function. We will use it await keyword. So window.ffmpeg.fetch file, it contains this method fetch file, and we will fetch this file which is GIF file. You will see this error right here, so just make this function as async right here. Just make it async because we are using await keyword right here. First of all, guys, we are actually fetching and writing this file in the memory using FFmpeg WebAssembly. This line meant by this, we are writing the file and fetching the file in the memory, storing it. So after doing this, now we need to simply set the output file name. So the output file name will be output underscore GIF speed cross, and you can set this to any name. I'm just dynamically making the name here GIF rotation degree GIF. You can name your own name as well, it's not that important. Then comes the major part. Now we will run this command right here, ffmpeg.run. It basically contains a run function. So this will actually run this command dynamically in the memory. So dash I stands for giving input file, comma, we will give the input file name, which is the actual name of the file. So name, we are actually, you can see we are providing it as an argument right here. Then we will actually be saying dash filter dash filter complex underscore complex, and here this is actual command, guys, which I will copy this and then explain to you. It is little bit complicated, so try to understand line by line. So we are providing the name of the input file. We are providing filter complex in FFMPG. If you want to provide a complex animation, you basically write here dash filter underscore complex. Then we are setting, we are using these dynamic parameters, whatever the speed and whatever is the rotation angle. We are dynamically changing the speed and the rotation, dividing it by pi 180. It is little bit mathematics going on, and then the output file name right here. So whatever we set this output file name, so it will do the magic. FFmpeg guys will process your file and it will actually write the output file name right here. So just copy the command right here, that's all. Now we just need to convert this output file name to blob so that we can show it in the browser. So it's very easy. We have a function inside FFmpeg files assembly. Now we need to read the file. So we will simply say read file, and we will simply say output file name, and then we will simply convert this into a blob URL. Again, we will use this function create object URL, and then we will simply say new blob, and we will say data dot buffer, and this will be type. That's all. That's all, guys, and then we will again reset this value to set processing, set processed GIF URL to be the actual URL which we got, and then set is processing. Again, we will set it to false, and we will close the this alert window, which is processing window. So in order to close it, in order to hide it, we use the close function. This will close it. If you see right here, it will change the values, it will do the processing, and the window will disappear. Now we need to display that output GIF file in the JSX. So right here, just go to your at the bottom right here, we will once again have a curly bracket, and right here we will say process GIF URL. If the output file is there, then only in that case it will execute. Uh, this is actually the button right here. Right here, you can see that. Lastly, we just need to show this. We'll have this condition process GIF URL. Give it a class name here of margin top 4, h2 excel font semi bold, margin bottom 2, text center, sorry, text gray 800, and the title will be processed GIF. So you will showing the processed GIF to the user. So again, we will use the image tag, image source, and this time it will be processed GIF URL. Just give it a class name, tailwind class, which is width full, max WMD. It will be rounded LG, shadow LG, margin bottom 4. So if you just refresh, try to select your GIF file, change the values, you can now see the output file is displaying right here, guys. If you try to open it in the new window, it will see. Now we also need to display a download button so that we can download the GIF file automatically as an attachment. We will have an anchor tag. href will be equal to processed GIF URL, and it should download as a file called as processed GIF. I'll give it a class name which is px4. These are all tailwind classes. py2 background will be blue, 500. Text will be in white color. It will be rounded, and we'll give it a shadow. And when we hover onto this bg blue 600, it will say to the user simply download GIF. Uh, that's all, guys, and the application is complete. If I try to increase the speed, change the rotation angle, you can see that. So if I click download GIF, your file is downloaded with the modified changes that you have done. So it's a complete web application, guys, that we developed in React.js using FFMPEG WebAssembly. It's a GIF animation speed and rotation editor by which you can actually speed up or change the rotation angle of your GIF animation at the same time. And I have also deployed this application on my website freemediatools.com. You can purchase the full source code of this project. You will get full documentation. After purchase, you will get full commercial right to actually modify this code or deploy this code on your own website as well. So the link is given. You can go to procodestore.com and purchase the full source code, and you will actually, before that, you can try the full demo. The demo is deployed on my website freemediatools.com. You can check out the live demo of this tool before purchasing it, and just upload your GIF file. Simply select it, and it all the processing is doing in the background using FFmpeg WebAssembly. The nice thing about this library, guys, it works in the browser. No need of backend. It works really in the front end, and it makes really things really easier for developing these kinds of applications. So please hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and share this video with your friends and also my channel as well. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will be seeing you in the next video.